Support for the Leadoff on WGLT and WGLT.org comes from the Central Illinois Regional Airport, where Florida beaches are one flight away. Featuring nonstop service on Allegiant Airlines to Tampa, St. Pete, and Orlando Sanford from Bloomington. Close, convenient, CIRA. More at CIRA.com.
Central Illinois politicos are enjoying their ringside view of the Democratic National Convention in Chicago. It's one of the things you need to know to start your day for Thursday, August 22nd. I'm Ryan Denham, and this is WGLT's The Leadoff. Now let's lead off with Central Illinois Democrats at their national convention in Chicago. WGLT's Charlie Schlenker was there for yesterday's breakfast with the Illinois delegation.
That energy Democrats feel usually happens to some degree at conventions. After all, party faithful get together to talk about things they care about passionately, and that generates its own vitality. But Peoria Area State Representative Jahan Gordon Booth says of the three national conventions she's been to, this one is a definite contrast.
This one, without question, is the most electric, and people feel the most joy.
The convention is for party faithful, and there are a lot of inwardly directed messages, but DeWitt County Party Chair Terry Redmond of Wapella says there's also a message for moderate Republicans and independents. Redmond is also the state central committee member for the 15th Congressional District.
Democrats are the party of we. We're not the party of me. And I think the people seen under Donald Trump what the party of me brings you to.
The we is something Central Illinois Democrats want nominee and Vice President Kamala Harris to articulate better in her keynote address. Jahan Gordon Booth says Democrats have programs and issues, but tonight she wants to hear Harris tell the nation which ones she wants to emphasize and how. State Senator Dave Kaler of Peoria says he wants Harris to take up the story where the Obamas left off Tuesday night and build on that commonality.
She needs to reach out and say, we're not all perfect. We're not all, going to agree on everything, but we do need to have that unity of purpose. Let's understand who we are. What's exciting about the convention audience is that it looks like America. And the diversity that exists in that room is phenomenal.
And time is short, says State Representative Sharon Chung of Bloomington.
We have about 11 weeks, which some people, for me, being in a campaign this year, it seems like a very short amount of time.
Grassroots-level Democrats like McLean County Party Chair Patrick Cortese say it's up to them to take the momentum of the convention and push the pace for those last weeks. For the Leadoff, I'm Charlie Schlenker.
Here's some other stories we're following in the WGLT newsroom. 5 Illinois men have been charged for their alleged participation in a video gambling burglary ring that spanned several counties, including McLean. They allegedly targeted gas stations, bars, and small gaming parlors. The city of Bloomington has awarded federal grants to more than 36 small businesses for various rehab projects. And longtime Illinois broadcaster Jay Pierce died yesterday following a battle with pancreatic cancer at the age of 69. He led or worked for several Illinois radio stations through the years, including guest hosting mornings here on WGLT, and he served on the NPR board. You can find more on these stories at WGLT.org. There are not a lot of women on the front lines of wildfire fighting. A Bloomington native is hoping to change that. Meredith Brown was recently named the Women in Fire Fellowship Coordinator with the Nature Conservancy. And while that work is based in southern Illinois near the Shawnee National Forest, Brown tells WGLT's Lindsay Jones that she got her start in public service right here in Bloomington Normal.
The way that I kind of got into public service was, when I was younger, my mom was really close friends with somebody who worked with the Girl Scouts of Central Illinois. And I, helped volunteer at some cookie jamborees, I think they're called, where they introduced the new cookies at the Children's Discovery Museum, a couple Girl Scout days at the Capitol. And that's kind of where my volunteer service started.
So I want to circle back to your time with NCCC and AmeriCorps, because I feel like those are programs that maybe at one point were more robust, but I just feel like the public doesn't know a ton about AmeriCorps or NCCC either.
Yeah, it's definitely something that I wish I would have known about sooner, because after high school, I graduated early. I was diagnosed with ADHD when I was 18, and it explained a lot of the struggles that I had sitting still in the classroom, wanting to be outside. I've joined a program called the National Civilian Community Corps, or NCCC. Did a full service term with them as a Corps member. Ended up with AmeriCorps St. Louis, based out of St. Louis, Missouri. And that's where I've been for the past 6 years. The past 3 is the wildfire program coordinator. So teaching folks how to use chainsaws, trying to develop leaders in fire and facilitate their growth and development.
What is it that you enjoy most about working with fire?
Fire really tickles my ADHD. So it's so chaotic, but there's so much noise that I'm actually able to zone in and focus on a fire. And it's stimulating in all the right ways. It's engaging. There's always something going on. There's always something to do. And there's always something to learn. I think the continued learning and the sense of community that, wildland firefighting kind of builds are 2 of the main things that have drawn me to it.
You'll take some of that hands-on experience and turn it into administrative expertise and help the people that fill the Women in Fire fellowships with the work that they do.
Yeah, as well as providing leadership on the fire line, teaching folks how to kind of get their bearings in a sense, because coming into wildland fire can, especially if you have no experience or little to none, it can be very intimidating. It's very fast paced, and you get all these trainings, and you're like, okay, I got it. I could totally do that. But then you get into a real life situation. It's like everything that you learned, you forgot. And it can be very overwhelming for some folks. I know for the first time that I was on a fire, it definitely was overwhelming for me. And luckily I had some really good folks supporting me. But yeah, I'd like to be able to make sure that folks are going into it confidently, that they're getting the training opportunities that they're looking for, and that they're able to be folded into the operation in a meaningful way.
It's not just a fire fellowship, it's Women in Fire. What is the significance of that?
Right now, as it stands across the board, across any agency, usually it sits about 10% of the folks that are actually employed are women, or basically non-male. They identify as anything except for male. And that is not a lot of people. 10% of the workforce that works in fire being non-male is absolutely insane.
That was Meredith Brown speaking with WGLT's Lindsay Jones. You can read or listen to the rest of their conversation at WGLT.org. Before we let you go, Bloomington's Special Commission for Safe Communities, a.k.a. the Gun Violence Commission, that meets today at 1 o'clock at the Government Center. On the agenda is discussion about safety in schools. And that's it for today. I'm Brian Denham. The show is produced by Rosalie Truback. You can subscribe to The Leadoff on the NPR app or wherever you get your podcasts.